get a triple. He does get a kill on his own teammate, but it doesn't really matter right now. Just still go, and he finds 3 as well. Might do the smoke and finds 2. That might just be a free use find. It's disgusting from Dragons. Lovely stuff from Sergio. Oh my god. Saki, TJ, and Breaker, you'll go back to the respawn. Oh my god, Breaker finds 3. TJ just finds 3 massive kills for his team. Ladies and gents, welcome to the EU Gears Pro League. My name is Tun. I'm here with Wow, I've just absolutely screwed it up already. Hilarious.
Should we start again? Let's go to the top.
Well, okay, we'll start again. Hi guys, welcome to the EU Gears Pro League. My name is Tun. I'm here with Toby Camp. No, I'm just doing that on purpose. I'm here with Fru, of course. We don't wish it was Toby. We love Fru here. I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mind, but we are very excited for week number 3 of the EU Gears Pro League. It has been absolutely cracking so far. Our best season to date by this point anyway. I think the first one in of course the fall, that first week was hilarious just to see, Rated R, the formerly Noddy coming in and beating at the time EU's finest. But right now the competition through is better than ever. Better than ever.
Yeah, you're doing well today already.
Mate, isolation's got my head boggled. Not leaving the house is frying me.
Me and you both. But you're right. It's been a fantastic couple of weeks so far. We've had 3 game 3s already, more than we could ever have hoped for. The games have been close. We've had upsets. We've had stomps. We've had everything. And hopefully it will continue this week.
Hopefully it will. We've got 2 cracking games coming up shortly, but let's have a look at how things are standing right now after 2 weeks of play. Rated R are sitting at the top with Elevate close behind them, but Rated R are currently the only undefeated team. Riga Reserve 1-1 alongside Elevate, but Obey Lions are still chasing that first win, although already doing better than they were last season at this point because they have a map win at least anyway. So I'm keen to see if Obey Lions can continue to improve because they're not too far off. It was tough for them last week against Elevate, but a bit of an easier game this week, you would think. Maybe not. But let's be honest, the competition's very, very high for.
Yeah, it is very, very high. I think the last couple of quarters, we've had like a top 2 and a bottom 2, right? And this time around, I kind of feel it's more of a top 3 right now. Regal have been actually looking very, very strong. Yeah. We've seen Rated R, go through strength to strength, and Elevate after 2 weeks of play, still not at the top. Who'd have thought that? I mean, it's exactly what we wanted from the EU Pro League. Obey, however, yes, they did have a very, very tough game last week against Elevate. Couple of 5-2s, wasn't the best showing ever from them. Yeah. But their first week performance was great, and if they can get back to that Obey, I see them coming out with a win today if they play their cards right.
Okay, well, let's see how they're going to do, but let's have a look at how things did play out last week. Let's break it down and see who came out on top. I mean, let's be honest, I'm not surprised to see Crimson's at the top anymore. It's just a continuation, week in, week out, putting up huge numbers for his team. We did actually speak to a couple of the guys through the week on their thoughts of Gridiron. I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk about it sometime this show as well. But Cougars was somebody I spoke to. He was putting up a big amount of score for his team in the previous week, so he'll be looking to try and do that if we do move over towards Gridiron at any point as well. Across the board, though, Regal are there or thereabouts, it has to be said, and I'm really, really excited for their game. In the second one, when they do take on Elevate, that's going to be an absolute cracker, but first and foremost, we do actually have Obey taking on Rated R. The only one for Obey there was Breaker, putting up plenty of score, I think it was in the end, but I do worry for Obey in this one. I think it is... I mean, the thing is now for them, there's no easy games. I think they had sort of last season to look on, and they could have went up against Regal and sort of said, okay, well, we can scrap with these boys. But looking at the other 3 teams, they just seem to have elevated their performance. And I'm not saying that Obey haven't, because, they have progressively got better. However, have they kept up that level? That's the question. Right now, it's a question that hasn't been quite answered yet. This is going to be really the teller as we get to the halfway point of the season. If they can get a good performance in against Rated R, maybe snatch a win, then suddenly I haven't got a clue what's going on in the Pro League, to be honest with you. I think that's the problem. It would make my life easier if Obey lost, because then I would know exactly where everybody really is.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you look at this Obey roster and you kind of think they've got the parts, but realistically they're not putting it together right now. I mean, take last week as an example. The first map, Breaker, he had about 13 eliminations, 10 deaths. Second map, he was top of the table. It's just one of those things. The consistency is still not there for them. We talked about it all last quarter. We gave them the benefit of the doubt having that roster change. But now's the time they've really got to step up. And they're not getting to that level just yet. Maybe it's going to take a bit longer for them. But They have the potential. That's the main thing for me is they need to find a way to get a win. Once they get that one win, that's it. It opens the door for more.
It does, and I'm curious to see when they're going to get that. Is it going to be this week against Rated R? I'm not too sure. Riga Reserve are a team who could potentially be getting a lot better as well, but Riga Reserve, I mean, they give Rated R a lot of problems last week, so I'm curious to see what Rated R we're going to get. And I think this is the beauty behind the EU Gears Pro League right now, is that anyone, it feels like anyone could beat anyone to a certain degree. We're not completely like saying that Obey are going to turn over everybody 2-0 or could do, but across the board, we're not 100% sure which way these results are going. Which, I mean, it's a good view. It's a good thing for everybody at home, and for us watching and casting, of course. It's nice to have some entertaining games, but in terms of people trying to predict what's going on, it is a little bit more difficult. You can do that, of course, at live.gearsofwar.com. If you are trying to get some skins, boys, we appreciate you being around. Hopefully, you are following the stream and do follow every single week. You need to be in every week if you do want to make sure you get a lot of these skins. But either way, let's talk about Rated R. Was it a poor performance from them last week, or did Regal just really step up?
I think Regal looked good last week, to be honest with you. We had a couple of questions about their week 1 performance, but they definitely rectified those. And last week, I did think Regal had stepped up. I think Rated R had dropped down a little bit as well, to be honest with you, after their win against Elevate. No surprise that was their kind of peak performance. But yes, I think to answer your question in one word, yes, they did step up. Regal did look better last week.
And it's a question of, Rated R, where do you see them lie? Because right now they are sitting at the top. Do you think they're the best team in Europe, or do you just think it's too hard of a question to answer right now?
I think it's very close between Elevate and Rated R right now. I'd still give it to Elevate, but Rated R, they're a solid team, and I think if they can get that second win this quarter against Elevate, then they've cemented that placement, and that's that's through the Mexico placement, that's through a full month of Pro League play, but you have to do it consistently. That's the thing. Two kind of beats. That's not enough for me. Make it 3, then I'll happily say you're the best team in Europe.
And, of course, at the end of the season, we've got the online major to look forward to as well. So that's going to be another big teller as well. But let's have a look at the picks and bans between these two. Rated R and Obey Alliance is, of course, going to be our very first game and see which way this one's going to go. You can see they're coming up there now. So Training Grounds and Exhibit are gone. Asylum is picked by Obey Alliance. That seems to be one they do like. District then coming in for Rated R. Not typically one I would say is a Rated R massive pick, but maybe it's something they feel strong on against Obey. Icebound and Bunker then gone, and Basgar is what we default to towards the end. I mean, look, I enjoy this game for Rated R. I think it does suit them to a certain point. Those maps, I like them for them too.
Yeah. I think Asylum is definitely something Rated R will like, and as is Vasgar. Districts, we've seen Obey have some good performances on that, and I wouldn't be against actually seeing these first 2 maps flip the other way. Realistically, though, Rated R, they've picked that one for a reason. They must be confident against Obey upon it. So yeah, it's looking like a good set of picks here for Rated R. The bans, the first 2 bans are exactly the same bans as the teams placed out last week as well. So it looks like we've got some kind of staple bans coming in for both of these teams this quarter. And yeah, we're just kind of going to roll through the rest of the 5 in this order.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not surprised to see the ban coming in from Obey on Exhibit after how we've seen Rated R. I've looked on that map. That's no surprises there. Training Grounds gone from Rated R. I mean, it just might be just their least favorite. When I've seen them play it, top of my head, I don't think they've ever done too badly, in all honesty. But let's be honest, if they don't like playing it and they prefer the others, they'd rather get themselves to those positions. Of course, Icebound and Bunker then gone, and it's just a case of basically picking the last map between yourselves. Vasgar coming through is no surprise, really. It's been quite a popular 3rd map, actually, as far as I'm aware. A lot of people are defaulting to that one.
It's been in most of our picks and bans so far. In terms of picks, just one thing before we go as well on the Training Grounds front. That's a map that Obey left open right until the end against Elevate, and it was actually Elevate that chose to pick Bunker over Training Grounds at the end. So it does seem to be a map that Obey are comfortable to kind of play through. So again, another kind of win there in the Rated R camp. If they're auto banning one of the maps that Obey is comfortable to let through against Elevate, you can kind of understand why that ban is so important at the start.
Absolutely. Let's now talk about our head-to-head. We do have 2 players specifically from each team to try and discuss on who we think needs to have a good game between these 2. Now, I went with the pick of Dragons, for TJ on the other side of things. I just feel as if, I mean, we talk about it so often that he has really been that guy. If he does stand out, Obey look great. If he doesn't, Obey start to struggle maybe just a little bit. Whereas Dragons is somebody who is constantly putting up these numbers. If TJ can somewhat match Dragons' pace and, I mean, high kill count, then possibly they have a chance in this game. But I feel as if you need to nullify Dragons.
Yeah, and that's such a hard task to do, right? We've seen him week in, week out, quarter in, quarter out now, actually. Yeah. Just put up such good numbers, such high eliminations, always getting in there involved in those scraps, and in general, always has a pretty high KDA to match that as well. So, yes, if you can nullify Dragons, you're in a good spot. Then you got to worry about the other 4 members of Rated R.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not just him you have to worry about. There's plenty of other Slayers on here, but I just think that if TJ can keep up with the Dragons, they've got a chance. But I said, so much talent on that Rated R roster. Yep. The question was there of them last week, though. I seen Jack was tweeting out something along the lines of, he was reading, or he was in the chat after that game saying, it was easy to read some stuff, and maybe they are trying to catch them up. And that's really a battle I'm looking forward to seeing. The top 3 teams between Elevate, Regal, and Rated R, of course, is something that is going to start unfolding. We're 3 weeks in now. And after this week, we'll be at the halfway point, so everyone will have played everyone, so we've got a good idea where everybody is at. But right now, we do have Rated R taking on Obey Alliance, Asylum, District, and Vazgar. The maps are in, our thoughts are in. What is your prediction, Drew?
I've got to go Rated R. I kind of have to go as well, 2-0. As great as the map 3s have been so far, and as exciting as we do like those round 9s, I kind of feel Rated R have been playing at a different level to Obey this quarter. So I'd be a fool to bet against them.
I think so. I think it's hard to bet against Rated R in this scenario. Obey Alliance, yes, okay, they are a very solid team, but right now Rated R very well could be the best team in Europe. Let's get into it. We're going to go on board with Pains from the off, and let's see if Rated R can continue being undefeated in Europe.
That's it. We are on board with Pains. Let's see who gets the opening kill. Looks like it is going to be Pains falling to J-Rage, and this is a bit of a scrap to start with, everyone in the middle of the map kind of going through. You can see Rated R actually on the minimap have pushed through towards that C hill, so this should be a very, very quick C capture. Obey, they should just hold on the B hill here as they kind of just establish a little bit of control down at the neutral. And just a trade of hills, really, but Rated R should come out on the top on this one in terms of points if they manage to lock in C hill. Looks like Dragons and Strikers are going to make sure that's the case.
Nicely done. Not a bad opening from either 2 teams in the end. Nobody able to take a massive amount of advantage. Dragons is going to find one on Ashens, though. Try and come down through. Is going to allow Rated R to solidify B. Breaker is going to find Dragons, though, so we'll shut him down, playing aggressive as per usual as Dragons, and it's something we do like to see. I think somebody in the chat just said TJ is the clip king. Dragons is right there with him, and has to be said. Yep. I'd love to see him just flying at people, picking up 2 pieces left, right, and center. He's somebody who has that ability, but right now it is Rated R's turn to try and defend this B site. And it's something we see so often, this war of attrition in the middle of the map. Right now, Breaker in the middle of nowhere, though, is going to get shut down. Pains and Code holding on. That's a really nice spread by him. He will find J-Rage. Marsh now trying to find the solidifying kill for this one. Saki goes down, and all of a sudden, this one has been turned on its head. Rated R in complete control here for it.
Yeah, fantastic fight from Rated R, and you can see now they actually start to make their way over to that C hill. They're not content with just 2. They want to try and find this 3rd hill if they can. They have a 3v3 to kind of take this one. Looks like they're going to try and get a kill. Dragons is going to get one. Rolls in, looking for his second. Has hit a couple of nice shots. Is going to get landed in the back, though, so should get traded out in the end. Looks like he has got some support here, though. They've changed pace of Rated R, and it looks like they're going to rock this round as they lock in that domination here. 2 minutes on the board, and a very quick round, as you said. Just turned on its head all of a sudden.
And it just comes down to a flurry of kills. That's all it is out of Rated R, but we know how good they are at doing that. Of course, the scoreboard has been updated ever so slightly. Kills and assists are on there rather than just eliminations across the board as far as I'm aware now, so we'll keep an eye on that. And of course, they moved the timer up to the very top now when the win condition comes up. So we're just going to have to work it out ourselves for. But we're clever enough to do that, I think.
Yeah,
you are at least anyway.
I need a notepad. But yeah, we'll try and keep an eye on it. Yeah, the kills and the assists is definitely a good change. That's something we've been asking for a long time now, a real long time. And it's one of those things that it just adds a layer of depth to the detail that we can kind of talk about, right? And we can really start to see who is getting involved in those kills, who is more of a bit of a support player and is shooting for their team.
And yeah, you know, sometimes we see a lot of eliminations coming up for people, and that, you know, could be overinflated stats as Dragon's now pushing around behind Breaker. He unfortunately gets left in this fight up top. His teammates lose in the middle, and suddenly this round is looking very much like a rated R1. Nobody near it for Obey Alliance. It's going to tick on through in 3, 2, 1. They're not going to be close enough. That's 2-0 in very quick fashion for rated R here. Asylum looking very, very nice for them so far. And that just comes down to a couple of gunfights. You lose them, then suddenly your teammates are in a bad position because they're being pushed in a 2v1. Ultimately, the round gets thrown on its head very, very quickly. 2-0. Rated R looking solid.
Yeah, that's it. This is what we said in the predictions, that Rated R, they've been a different beast these last couple of weeks. And Obey, they've really got to do something special here to stay in this game, to not let this get out of hand. The Incendiary is going to go down for now. It's kind of a staple pick, you'd say, on Asylum right now. And both teams just keeping it even, just keeping it kind of back and forth with the same pick, same bands. It's fine, I guess. There's nothing really to play for in the middle, so no teams are really having to build up a strategy to try and, you know, take a drop shot fight or anything like that at the moment. So it's just about building up for what could be and keeping it even. That's always a safe play for both teams.
Flip slow one. Start round number 3. Nobody able to find any definitive amount of control. J-Rage is going to put shots in the middle though, and Saki will try to push up top. Dragons is actually going to get dropped as Saki pushes low, sorry. Dragons gets caught out there, and that's now going to allow Obey Alliance to start to make their move. Concentrating a lot of their resources over towards B is no surprise. J-Rage just setting up, watching for the train. Strikers is going to find Saki though, so that should push them back a little bit, but either way, Obey do have control of B, but the resurgence from Rated R is coming. Here come the kills as well. Ashens and TJ both going down. That's a really good shot by J-Rage, though. Strikers is the only one to go down from Rated R. Slazen cleans that one up. That's a nice sweep from them. They will get a hold of B. They have a hold of A, and this fight up top is important. If you're Obey, you need to win that one. If you're Breaker, he goes down. Saki now the last one alive, and suddenly it's once again just a quick switch from Rated R, and suddenly they look in a position where they can win the round. Right now, the Obey Alliance are fighting back here for on the back foot, but they're getting the kills.
Yep, that they are. You can see Saki going in with the knife. Managed to get a couple of downs there, and that was a good defense from Obey Alliance. They looked to be on the ropes there, but whoever was on that top bridge just delayed long enough for his team to come off spawn. And in the end, Obey, they do win that fight. Marsh is going to go down, and I'm liking what I'm seeing now from Obey. They're trying to find these 2v1s, these odd man rushes here. As they do find a kill here or there, and that's exactly what Rated R were doing to them. You saw them. They had the opportunity to go straight for the Sea Hill. They didn't. They went up to that top bridge to find the pick, and you know, that's the way to play it. If you want to keep the opposing team kind of pinned in their half, that's how you do it. You neutralize a player, and you basically play that 5v4. In the end, though, it's going to be back to kind of even Stevens here as Rated R. They do lock in that B hill, but the kills are going in Obey's favor, so expect that to flip in just a second. They're going to defend their home hill, though, because Rated R, they're making a push pretty boldly across this bridge.
Yeah, just trying to the distraction tactic there. Marsh, though, has been caught in a really bad spot. He will go down, maybe a little bit overzealous from him. Pushing that angle. Strikers is going to go down as well, so this is a good answer back from Obey Alliance, though. Rated R the ones trying to make the moves, but Obey are the ones answering back. Everybody dropping down. Slazen and Pains falling to Ashens, who really has been an influential player ever since he came onto this roster. The domination ticking on through. Obey Alliance will get their first point on the board here. Nicely done by them. It's a nice round from them in it as well. You know, it was looking likely that it was Rated R, but it's the fact that Obey are able to defend that home hill from the initial break that Rated R get, and then force their way through, hold down B, and then make the push when they can.
Yep, yeah, it was very, very nice in the end. And that's a big round, actually, for Obey. You don't want to go down 3-0. It's a long way back from that point, and a 2-1 scoreline is definitely a little bit easier. Flashbangs going down on either side now just to help support that middle fight, perhaps, or that entrance fight on the next round. As yeah, we start to make our way towards that halfway mark. The flashbangs, they'll get upgraded. Obviously, they'll probably go through to shot grenades in the end, and expect that to then kind of be the main weapon as they fight across for that neutral hill once it flips over. But for now, it's all about those incendiaries. It's all about that neutral hill at the bottom, and you can see on that minimap the teams are set up. Obey, they've got a bit of a J shape set up there. Some would call it a C if you're not looking at it backwards. And they're just kind of holding that mid route as well, making sure no one can flank through behind their bridge guy. On the other hand, Rated R are a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more set up. There goes the incendiary out, and they are the first ones to make the play. It does miss in the end. Good bit of Lancer Fire will get it down there, but Ashens is straight back on his feet. He had the revive. And this is Rated R, just playing here with Obey a little bit, trying to find a weakness. You can see now the Incendiary's good, actually. Some good crossfire as well, just as the train comes in. Now we've got a bit of a scrap here. It's going to be a 2v2 situation, maybe 3v2 actually, as Rated R. They do find that first kill. It's a good kill by Ashen. Some bouncing there is not going to get him out of trouble, though. Slazen will claim that B hill as his reward.
In the end, it does come out as a Rated R win, but Obey Alliance seemed to utilize their Incend a lot better, but just didn't really get anything for it. They found a couple of kills, and then it's just a case of Rated R answering instantly back, and TJ and Co. not really getting what they probably felt they deserved there. On the side of Rated R, their Incend was completely wasted. Didn't really find anything, and then Obey clapped back with a successful one, but don't find anything else out of it. So it's unfortunate if you're Obey Alliance, as the kills start to rain on through once again for Rated R. That's 3 now. Topping up TJ, horrible spot. He goes down as well. That's suddenly 4 men down for Obey. Ashen, Saki, and J-Rage all respawning right now, so Rated R can't quite make that push as aggressively as they would like. They say that. Saki trying to push on through as the rest of Rated R do push in towards A. Finds one. Can he find the second as well? Here come the cavalry. They're going to be able to lock A down. Can they find anything for it? Have Rated R extended too far? Have they lost too many lives? Obey now trying to claw the round back. It's about a 60-point difference, the win condition with Rated R.
Yep, and we have another down. Pains is going to fall, actually. Another Incend comes in, and J-Ray trying to take out Dragons is going to get taken down himself, though. No support from his team, though. Even though he had 2 behind him, 1 in the middle. He should definitely have been a little bit more cautious on that one. Gotta get a little bit of support there, and maybe would have cleaned that one out a little bit easier. In the end, things kind of go back to stalemate situations here. Obey, yes, they do have that 2 cap, but no, they don't have enough points from what I can tell. No, it looks like they are going to be a few points short. Yep, they need a decap basically on the C hill, and Striker's getting that kill on Saki is not going to help a thing. The decap here should all but secure it for Rated R. As you can see, the domination tick to 28 seconds. That's going to half in just a couple of seconds. Rated R taking this one once again. That was another 0 to 100 play there by Rated R, realistically. It looked to be about 60 seconds away, and then all of a sudden, just like that, they're locking in a third.
Well, that's the thing with escalation. It's really not done until the fat lady sings. And in that situation, Rated R, we're still looking good, but a couple of kills coming on through, and suddenly the round is done a lot quicker than you would have expected. 3 to 1 now. Looking at the kills and assists, though, Dragons. Look at the engagements from him. 10 kills, 12 assists as well. And I really like that this change has come on through. Our people who are working on the stats, maybe not so happy. But us ourselves, I'm happy to see it coming through. It is a better representation of how players are playing. Of course, you don't want to just concentrate on kills. I think that's an important thing to note. But they are important themselves. They are really a reflection of how that player is doing. Eliminations are, you know, you can only interpret them in a certain way. You can say that, you know, Crimson's a lot of these big eliminations he's putting up. If he's getting even one Lancer bullet in there and the player is eventually dying, of course, he's getting an elimination. So that does show that it's good teamwork, but it doesn't necessarily show who's actually flying through and putting up these numbers. But either way, into the next round we go. Rated R are trying to get some sort of control, but Obey have sat back and played this well. They will get control of E. Rated R will have to back on down. I say that as Pains pushes forward.
Yeah, you'd have thought he might have backed off a little bit there, but faith in his teammate, perhaps, the Strikers does hold off 3 members of Obey Alliance, gets Pains up in the end and gets himself out. I'm not sure how they've managed to do that. They're going to have to fight for that D hill, though. There is a 1v1 going down here. It's not going to be a 1v1 for much longer as Saki, he hightails it. He's got to get out of there. Does find Dragons on his way. Strikers finds a train as well. He gets taken out. Dragons trades out. Pains falls as well, and it looks like Obey are going to lock this one in. Is it an elimination victory? It is indeed. 3 for 2. So actually, 5 rounds gone. Pretty close here, and I nearly called you Toby rather than Tun.
That's because I was waiting.
Payback for earlier,
wasn't that hilarious?
And a good.
You think it's funny until you're not here next week.
This is it, isn't it? Just that'll be the end of me for good. I'm just gonna jump in anyway.
Contract on fire, just like that.
I got that call invite. Matt'll get me in. It's fine.
This is my world now. Anyway,
3-2. That's all I was going to say. It's 3-2 now. It's pretty close.
Yeah, and honestly, Obey's rounds have been nice from them as well. Let's not get twisted. Rated R still in the lead, but the fact that it's close is a good indicator. Which way does this one go? This is an important round. If Rated R can find themselves within 1, you fancy them to close it out. If Obey can tie this one up, it's anyone's game. Dragons and Co now just trying to put this Lancer Fire down. They did lose out in this fight after being quite aggressive in the previous round. Not so this time around, though. They are sitting back, waiting for Obey to try and maybe make a move, maybe make a mistake.
Well, if you look at that, if you look at that minimap, you can see. Look at Obey's positioning. They've got two all the way down on that tracks, and they're not doing anything with it. For me, honestly, you have to look at, you know, what are you doing in this position? What is that second man giving you down there? Yes, it's giving you a cross up into the middle. Yes, it might get you a little bit damage down, but at the end of things, is that really as useful as maybe someone else in that middle trying to get that flank or up at the top? And I don't know. If I am Obey in this situation, and you know you've got a shot grenade in hand to stop this push, you know you've got incendiaries in hand to stop this push from Rated R, why are you not making a bit of a bolder push over towards this F, causing a bit of trouble behind the ranks of Rated R?
Oh, Pit. The snap over the cover was very, very nice, and that may be the catalyst for them pushing forward and getting control of E eventually. We're in a bit of a Mexican standoff there, but this time round it is going to be broken in the end. Pains with a really nice push on through. Saki going to go down below as well. That's going to now open up the route in the middle of the map for Rated R to cause more trouble. Obey are going to have a chance to come off spawn here, but Rated R are waiting for them. Pains is just about going to get the cleanup on Ashens here. They will send them back to the respawn queue, and now here go Rated R doing what Obey didn't do at the beginning of the round, and that's making a push on all these different angles. TJ is going to find the jump over onto Dragons, but can he find much else? He may have just bought his team a little bit of time. Saki's the one trying to push on through. He will be dropped by Strikers. That's another round for Rated R. And the fact that they just took their time and picked them apart there is a bad indicator, I think, for Obey. Usually Rated R, they win on their team fights, the big team fights that do come through, but they just picked them apart there. 4-2 now.
Yeah, 4-2 indeed. And for Obey Alliance, you're in a bit of a tricky situation here. I'm wondering what they're kind of thinking of in terms of how do we change this map up, because
I'd like to see a mid drop.
I'd like to see a little bit of aggression from them. I'd like to see them forcing the play, trying to make Rated R react rather than be proactive, and that's the Obey that usually is pretty good. You see them getting involved in those fights on Icebound, getting involved in those fights on Vazgar, where they are, they're forced to make those fights, forced to make those plays, and that's where Obey look good. When they're in these stalemate situations, they're always the second team to act. That's why they find themselves now at a 4-2 disadvantage here. Pains with a beautiful Boltok, beautiful kill. Just misses the flick around the corner, but will clean up Saki. And this might be over very, very quickly, Ton.
It might be. The push through towards F is good. Pains trying to lock this one down, not missing Boltok shots either. That's a dangerous position for Obey Alliance to be in now. Slazen keeps on pushing as well. Here with Pains just trying to lock down the spawn of Obey Alliance, continue to pick his teammate up, just trying to cause a distraction. Even if they both go down here, the amount of points that have been wasted from Obey Alliance's point of view is not fantastic. E will be in the control of Rated R, and they've just kept them occupied, if you like, over towards F. And that's allowed the rest of the map to be controlled by Rated R now, who are set up quite nicely, but Obey Alliance have the numbers up towards E. The push comes through, as does the flash. J-Rage now trying to put damage down as best he can. The Nash's range still very, very solid. We know that. But here come Rated R once again. Those extended Lancer clips really causing problems for Obey, but can Obey lock down some kills here? Marsh has been dropped, but not quite cleaned up. But Rated R are going to have to back on down as Obey just brute force their way through the here.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Strikers trying to brute force his own way as well, and Dragons is going to get caught on that flank as well. So this actually opens it up now for Obey to make the push. They do find Marsh there, and if they can find maybe one or two more, they might have an elimination on their hands, but Pains, he's having none of it. There's some great crossfire coming in from Slazen as well. And just like that, Obey, they look to be in a fantastic situation. Now they're in a dire one. As you can see now, Pains, 20-7, was pushing through. A little bit hot now as he gets taken out by the Incendiary, and Strikers gets headshot too, so that's good for Obey Alliance, but it's not slowing Rated R down. They're still pushing forward. They don't care about the fire. They don't care about the damage.
Rated R just really forcing their will on Obey Alliance up top here, but maybe they've forced it too long. Marsh and Co have now been dropped. A well-placed shock coming out of J-Rage. It's going to push them back. Pains now picking up the Incense though, so they're going to try and bite back here over towards Z, but Obey Alliance do have the lead. Saki, can he get away? Not quite. Pains is going to get taken down though. TJ and Co just about holding on. And now they have control. They have the lead too. 35 seconds is the win condition for them. Huge round in the grand scheme of things. If they can take this back to 4-3, it is doable, but if they lose this map round, they will lose the map. and put themselves in an awful position, but they're in a good spot now.
They're in a good spot, and Rated R, they're trying to do this 2v4, 2v5. They've not spawned up. They're going to concede this round. I think that's the right choice. Looking at their lives, they know they're a life or two behind here. Maybe one life across the board behind Obey in the second half. And to save that life, to make sure that you're not losing, any more, and making sure you've got the lives for the, the remaining 2 rounds, maybe. That's a smart play in my eyes. You can see they're slightly behind on the scoreboard now. They did make the right choice there. Just concede that round, go 4-3, come back in. Let's try another day, try another round.
Yeah, I think you need to save them. If you feel as if that round has been conceded, it will take a big effort to get it back. Just maybe trying to be a little bit more safe for the rest of the rounds that may be to come. Loadout's coming through for TJ this time round. And the Incend halved for Rated R, so we are even across the board. In terms of weapon placements, OB Alliance feel as if they're in this one enough not to try and have to mix it up, as we do often see. If you are behind, sometimes a mid-drop is something that can just upset the balance of the game and maybe swing it in your favor. It is always a risk, of course.
Yep.
But right now, they're choosing to stick with the exact same setup as Rated R. They feel as if they're in this game the 1 round away here. It's a nice smoke coming through here from Obey. They're going to get the initial control of D. Not quite. Ashens is going to have to back on down. The shot comes through and will push them back, so a pretty even start for these two.
Yeah, it's pretty even once again. And you can see actually on the minimap, Obey, they're going to rotate actually more to this mid route here. Number 3, who is that? Breaker. Sorry, not Breaker, Slazin. I don't even know if it's a 3, could be an 8, could be a 9, could be whatever. Someone from Obey Alliance has rotated around to that mid route just to make sure that Rated R aren't cutting through, making sure there's no shenanigans going on there. And a good shot grenade coming in here. Does get a down or 2. Striker's now on his last down. He's got to be very, very careful. You can see him now. He's playing the back roll. Will hopefully take a little bit less damage. Good Incend coming out there by Breaker. Kills Marsh. And this could potentially open up a push here for Obey Alliance. You can see now, actually, all members rotating around to this top hill. Obey, they do have a couple of ticks advantage on the points, so Rated R will have to find a move at some point. Good shot there by Pains. Does connect with that headshot. You can see the push coming forward. There's an Incendiary going out as well. TJ does manage to get that down. There's another one from Strikers. Sorry, 2 Strikers. He gets taken out by J Rage. But in the end of things, Rated R, they do lock in the cap. The shot grenade does go down. Obey can't do much about it yet. They are going to take this as soon as the shot grenade goes. Dragons should fall. No, a little bit of a body block there from TJ on his teammate's Lancer. We'll put the end of that one. But it should be, in the end of things, an Obey Alliance E-Hill.
Oh, you would think so, but the bodies are really hitting the floor here.
Oh, it's a great headshot by Pains.
It's a really good headshot. He will find one. Pains will find TJ as well in the end. And how does it seem as if OB Alliance are in complete control? They're winning the gunfight, but yeah, Rated R bounce back every single time. He will now go in their favor, and I think, is it that shot grenade that comes through and OB just can't push through?
Exactly that. It was a superbly held shot grenade. They held it in case they lost the fight. They lost the fight. They placed it down perfectly, and Obey, they just couldn't do anything about it. The 5-6 seconds that it was on the floor, blocking them out, their team are back up off spawn, and they're back for the fight already.
It's nicely placed, and that's the thing with the shot grenade. You can just sit back on it, or if you need it to solidify those extra couple of kills towards the end as well, it can work out on that way too. Rated R, though, have been forced away, but Obey can't quite get control. I say that as they do. They get a hold of E. Saki being dropped multiple times, can't quite get away. Now TJ needs to come up with some magic. We've seen it before from him. Can he find anything here? The push trying to come through from Rated R, just baiting and switching between each other. Breaker running in there, grabbing the body of one of the player's Strikers. Eventually sent back to the respawn queue, but Breaker following him quite shortly after. F, though, has been pushed out by OB Alliance. I like that from them. 22-second win condition, and I do feel as if that is actually for OB Alliance here. They're in a good spot. Painson could really have to start clutching up here. Slazin in himself. Now just about solidifying these kills. Slazin will find another. Really well played by him. That might just solidify this map for Rated R. E and F in their favor. Strikers is going to go down towards D. So Rated R can't quite solidify it there, but if you are OB Alliance, you need to go, and you need to go now. Only a few seconds remaining. They're not going to be able to get in the air. Rated R are going to walk away as winners of map number 1. 5-3 was the score. Obey did make it difficult for them, but in the end, Rated R probably get what they deserve in that one.
Yeah, I think so. In the end of things, they look like the stronger team throughout that. It was close there at the end, to be honest. If Obey managed to get a couple of extra kills, they might have been able to go through and pick up that steal on that round. But in the end of things, Rated R solid as always, picking their fights as always. The play with the shot grenade was crucial, really was. And yeah, they opened strong today. They look great.
Yep, looking good. And I think at the same time, Obey, at least they did make it somewhat of a competition there. I think that's important for them as well. Of course, I think that if they ever watch back these VODs, they'll be like, oh no, come on, like it's not good enough from us, etc., etc. But I think that it's like small margins are acceptable to a point where you can sort of, what you need to work on. You could be there. There was a couple of rounds there where they were in a good position and they lost it. So I think, a couple of rounds, a couple of kills difference there. Then suddenly you're looking at maybe a 4-4, and then whoever wins the last round, of course. It's difficult, I know, for Obey, but in the end, Rated R played very, very well there. They'll be happy to solidify that one before we do move over towards the next map, which will be District, which is something a little bit different. But in the end, relatively comfortable from Rated R, but Obey Alliance very much still in this game. District, what are we thinking after that first performance for on Asylum? Are we feeling a 2-0 for Rated R here?
Yeah, I am doing. I'm still kind of sticking with my guns. I think after that performance, that was Obey's pick. Rated R, they did look very, very good still. Yes, Obey, they look competitive, and that's a good thing for them, for sure. But Rated R, they still look the better team. They look like the more active, proactive team. They were the one making plays. They were the one finding a way to win the round. They were making smart plays as well. And for me, if they carry that into District, they're going to see a 2-0 here.
Yeah, I would think so. They're only undefeated team right now, and things are looking good for them in this series. Really interested about the second one more than anything. I think when everybody looked at the schedule for this week and knew that these two teams had to play each other, okay, everyone's sort of expecting a Rated R win, but I think a lot of people are looking towards the Riga Reserve v Elevate. If you are here for the skins, get answering the questions that are coming up for you, of course, but please stick around because it should be an absolute corker in game number 2. But Gridiron now out, of course, through. We had a little chance to play it with some of the NA guys, of course, as well. For some reason, they decided to put on a West Coast server, and we were still doing all right. What do we think of the game mode, though, relevant of our performances in casting games?
First up, I want to make this known right now. Chris Tunn can play Gears of War, everyone.
Mate,
I've seen him play.
I told you I'm a Gears caster.
It might be on a mouse and keyboard. Well, we're not going to talk much about that.
Yeah, but no, that doesn't. That's a relevant detail.
You were good. You were holding your own there, and I was happily surprised. So yeah, we'll make that one known. But yeah, talking about the game mode,
welcomed.
This is it. Talking about the game mode, I really enjoyed it. I've played several scrims now of varying levels of quality, and usually held down by me, to be honest with you. And it's been really good fun. It has been really good fun. I think we've got some tweaks to do before it's ready for a competitive setting full stop, right? Like before it comes in the Pro League. However, I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far of it, and if we can get some weapon swaps in there and kind of nail that one down, and maybe a couple of tweaks to visibility of certain things, I think we've got a very, very good mode on our hands, I'm looking forward to casting it. That's one of the main things I'm looking forward to.
Yes, me too. Maybe something on the way, who knows? But
fingers crossed.
I'm keen to nail you down for a Changing Gears episode at some point. I also see Deluxe in there in the chat. If we can get some of the boys in. I know you get a busy schedule for and you like to spend time with your girlfriend or whatever, but she'll still be there. It's isolation, mate. You're with her all the time. It's fine.
Come on, Changing Gears. She knows more than I do. To be fair.
Oh God. I mean, if she does, she'll probably do a better job than I will. In all honesty, but hey, we'll get on. We'll try and discuss it. I think everyone's really excited about Gridiron right now. I'm really looking forward to seeing what direction it does go in. Very excited to see if it's going to be part of the competitive scene, of course, which would be good. I think everybody's been crying out for this sort of game mode for quite some time, but we are nearly ready to go. In map number 2, we will be moving over towards District. We are feeling a Rated R win here. I'm so excited to see how this one does play out. I'm so excited for the major, though, as well. Of course, we're going to be playing the major online. Texas, unfortunately, was cancelled. That one, of course, will be online now for an EU-only tournament. I did see a few a few complaints about the prize pool and whatnot, but I think, it's a big prize pool for an online event, and one that we've never seen in Europe. I would say we've never seen that much cash on offer for an online event, even a LAN event.
A LAN event as well,
yeah. So I mean, I think it's something to play for a lot of people, and I'm super excited to see how that one plays out. I think that's the real teller for me. This whole Elevate Rated R debate. I think typically Elevate have always been solid online. They've been great online. Going towards LAN, they've not done as well this year, but Rated R look to seem to be catching them online. They're there or thereabouts at least anyway. Yep. Regal Reserve are getting better every single week. Obey, little few tweaks here and there, you never know. I'm just excited. I'm really, really excited for that weekend just to see how things do unfold. I honestly, because a prediction is so difficult at this point. And that is a huge sum of money, especially, in this scene. We haven't seen huge prize pools like that in Europe forever, in all honesty. So I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I think you're right in terms of the money itself. I mean, that's pretty much more than anyone would be expecting to win, at least given San Diego and Mexico from Europe. You know, if they were going out to a major, and I know it's not quite the same atmosphere, and some teams do perform better in person than they do online, but honestly, it's a massive amount of money. We've got, 12 teams, 14 teams involved in it, and realistically, it's going to be a fantastic showcase for European gears as a whole. Do we know who's going to win it yet? No, we've got our favorites for sure, but there are some good challenger teams coming up. I've seen Warrior Guns team putting in the work there, Notorious and Co as well, looking very, very good. Even Rita had a team in the recent PGL Sunday Challenger tournament and looked pretty good as well there. So there are a lot of teams out there that are just under the Pro League that are looking very, very strong right now that will challenge the likes of Obey, may challenge the likes of Regal as well. So yeah, definitely going to be a good event. Maybe some upsets to come as well. And realistically, that fight for the top, that Rated R, who's going to win it, that will be very, very interesting.
And again, we're saying Rated R Elevate, but Obey Line, sorry, I said it in first, but Regal are a team who have progressively got better. We've seen the improvements over 2 weeks, so I'm really, really interested to see how this third game of the season goes for them up against Elevate. I said, when it gets to the halfway point, you can start to gauge where everyone's at. And after this week, we will sort of have a better idea of where things are sort of leading. And I think Regal Reserve against Elevate is one to definitely watch. Look, if Elevate come out and destroy them 2-0, then you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, if Regal come out and give them a really good game, maybe win a close series, then suddenly we're sort of asking the question of where does everybody really lie at this point? As Regal continue to get potentially better as well with the addition of Reaction. We're ready to go in this second game. Not quite sure what's holding us up, but we should be able to get started very, very shortly. We're expecting a Rated R win here because I'm running out of things to fill with. What are we expecting the round count to be?
God, we really are running out, aren't we? Where am I going to put this one? I kind of feel we might be seeing another 5-3. I think that would be a healthy scoreline. I know that Obey, they've had some good showings on districts. They play it well. They like to get involved in those scrappy fights, at the cinema, at the bandstand, and if they can get hold of a couple of kills early, then they might have a chance. But realistically, I'm thinking maybe a 5-3, 5-2. I kind of feel like Rated R are pretty strong on this map too. Yes,
I agree, and I think I said with it being their pick, also they will feel confident on it. But at the same time, it's a map I've seen Obey play a lot historically, I would like to say. I don't think I'm just pulling that completely out my ass. But at the same time, I think it's a map that they have enjoyed playing on occasion. So hopefully they can give us a good game here. District coming up in just a second. But right now, it is 5-3 on the first map scoreline for Rated R. So they're 1-0 up. Vazgar is what we will see if we need to. However, I think we are pretty much of the opinion that we don't think we're going to see it. I can see the teams are now loading in. Very excited to get this one started through. 5-2, 5-3. I think that's probably a pretty bold, not a bold pick, I should say. It's a pretty standard pick. It's hard to say otherwise, isn't it? That both these two teams relatively well practiced on this map. If Rated R can get it done in 2, they will be more than happy. So far, though, haven't played it this season. Obey played it twice. Now, that round win percentage isn't actually too bad considering they've lost it twice. But in this situation, they're pushing teams relatively close. If they can do that here against Rated R, then maybe we have a map 3 on our hands.
Maybe we do. I mean, it's up to Obey now, right? They've got to put their best foot forward and try and take down Rated R here on District. And the first way to do that is to find these opening kills. Pain's going to be the leader for Rated R. Pulling their way straight through this middle, is going to find that opening down, is going to find that opening frag, and will start off the slaying here, at least for Rated R's team. On the other side of things, TJ looking to open it for Obey. Will get taken out in the end. Marsh coming in with a bit of backup there. And this looks good for Rated R so far. Ashen's managed to get one, but it's all about Rated R slaying. They're already putting the pressure on.
I mean, they're just using the numbers. That's what most of that was. They win 1v1, and then suddenly they got the numbers advantage on one part of the map. They then make that work in their favor. But Obey, quick off the respawn, are going to push back through towards it. He will get a hold of that, and now suddenly Rated R have to defend their home hill. Obey Alliance flying out of the gates there at the second time of asking. Saki's going to push in, try and get the clean up. Will do so, but will not quite pay with his life as the pickup comes through. Rated R have to back on down from their home hill seat. Could be captured here by Obey. They've at least decapped, but here come the rest of Rated R. Now they make the push. It's just the standard war of attrition that we do see in Gears. Really well played by Rated R. They just go backwards and forwards. In the end, they will win this fight and force Obey Alliance back.
Yep, that's all it's about, is that force. Obey are doing well, actually. They've managed to get the B hill in all of this as well, and now TJ putting on the pressure here over on this opposite side, actually, on the Rated R side of things, almost in the spawn, as they're trying to find another pick here on Striker. Striker's hightailing it, getting out of there, trying to do his best to stay alive here as he's getting pressured pretty heavily. Obey, in the end, they decide that it's not worth it. They got to get out of here, because if they stay much longer, they're going to get flanked through. Marsh with that Lancer angle down from info, just being a bit of a pain, putting some damage down across the map. We say it every week, fantastic vantage point is this. Get the spots everywhere, get the damage down everywhere, support your team. That's exactly what Marsh is doing here. Just being an annoyance, to be honest with you.
That little bit of extra damage can sometimes make the difference. You come into a gunfight, you're at the same range in terms of shotguns, and you're landing all your shots, so that one extra Lancer bullet can really help. TJ putting a shot in, get wiped out by Strikers. Round the corner, TJ just got caught out there. Striker's first kill, 6 assists for him, putting up his Lancer work, but suddenly Rated R ticking in this domination. A very long round number 1. Obey Alliance on the back foot here. J-Rage backed into a corner, finds 2. Obey Alliance can now push out towards C. Extend this round further. It was looking like a Rated R win there, Fruit.
Yep, and J-Rage is actually, he's putting the team on his back with this play. He's managed to get 2 down on his home hill. Managed to get a couple more in this juice room, and now Obey, they've got a few seconds to make the push across here. They've got 2 hills. They're going to get the decap. Breaker gets that kill there on Strikers as well, and this might be it if they can get a couple more kills down at the C hill. Slays in his best, trying to do this 2v1. Isn't going to get it there. There's no one at the B hill, no one at the C hill. And Obey flip it just like that. They're going to put the first round on the board.
Very nicely done. Especially with these rounds where, you know, the respawn time is so long. You get a couple of gunfights going your way and a clean push on through. It's suddenly the round is completely in your favor. Dragon's not picking up a kill or an assist there, which might be a reason as to why Rated R go on to lose that round. But Obey Alliance here to play on District. I said it is Rated R's pick, but Obey, we know they're well practiced on this map. Can they get something going here? They do have the first round and will choose to go with the utility grenades on their side of things. You'd imagine Rated R are going to match that. They will. Now, that's an interesting start. Rated R were very much in control for the majority of that round, but you can't switch off. Obey get one on the board. Can Rated R answer back?
That's the question. That is the question. Breaker is the first one in here. We often give him a lot of stick as being more of a passive player, more of a home hill player, as some would call him. And this time around on District, he's the first one into that mid fight. And actually, he's been talking to me about this, and he's been finding some good success there in that mid route, in that very front spawn, making their way all the way in there into that first engagement. Slazin does have a bit of an angle here on J-Rage, and yeah, back to my point, they do switch it up per map, and Breaker, yeah, he likes that aggressive front spawn.
He did push on through and do very, very well there, and that's put Rated R on the back foot. Maybe these shotgun changes benefiting J-Rage right now. Seems to be. Doing fairly well for himself here. Good shots by Breaker as well, getting his teammate up and just flicking onto Slazin. Nicely done by Obey. They continue pushing forward as well. Being proactive here. We said that when they are the ones reacting, it's something that doesn't necessarily work in their favor, but right now they're the ones forcing the issue. And that is potentially what's making the difference for them here. They're in the lead in this round, they're in the lead in the map.
They are definitely looking better for Obey this time around. Definitely better than the previous map, that's for sure. Bit of a crossfire coming in from Rated R. That's good positioning there from them. Just up in juice, getting that lance fire down. As you said, those extender clips, 40 bullets now in a single magazine will definitely be helping this crossing here, this fire down from the heavens. And it opens up now for Rated R to push up onto the C Hill once again. It is the C Hill where the last battle does stand. We can see actually there is a movement over towards that B Hill, but not quite in time. You can see Rated R will lock in that one. It was so close actually for Obey. Whoever it was, I'm not quite sure who it was, just delayed for a second on one of the cover slips, and that was all the time that really they needed.
Obey will be kicking themselves though. They'll be kicking themselves. They were in control the most of that round, and suddenly Rated R, they do the classic flip switch. It's very similar to how you see Elevate sometimes, where looking like they're going to lose the round, then suddenly there's 3 kills on the board, and then the rest is history. They did that there themselves. Obey Alliance very much will be disappointed not to be 2-0 up here. Rated R, the crucial round for them.
Yeah, and these are the rounds.
It's crucial, I said.
These are the rounds that Obey keep losing in every series. You can guarantee they're going to lose 1 or 2 crappy little rounds like that, where they look like they're in control, and then all of a sudden, just like that, flips on its head. A good kill there by Breaker. Gets 2 actually, nice double kill. Should be able to get through to the C Hill as well, has that free. And his teammates, they should be rotating actually now. Number 2, who's that? TJ, he needs to make a move a little bit quicker here. Maybe get up that mid street, maybe take control of that info room and give his team some support. It looks like they're just going to kind of give that hill over in the end. They knew they probably couldn't get there in time to help support. They let Saki be that sacrificial lamb, and they just basically put all their numbers onto their home hills, onto C, but they've got to be careful here now not to get pincered down through that mid street. You can see it is Slays and it is Dragons trying to make their way down here. No. Strikers, just making a mockery here of Obey's defense, as Obey end up getting that kill on themselves, and Strikers will find another 1v2 situation. Should have teammates in tow though. On his left hand side, Saki does get a kill on Dragons. That's going to help things out, and that's going to be in the mid route. If I was Obey now, I'd be looking at making that rotation round towards that B hill, because you've got a 1v2, potentially a 1v3 here, and you need to be there snappy. So number 2, TJ, does not fall.
But the thing is, for Rated R, they're in a good spot to transition over towards the other side. Strikers can move back down towards his home hill, or over towards C fairly handily, and also set himself up inside of info and just get those Lancer shots down, which is exactly what he's doing now.
Ashens went down on his own home hill. From across the map, C to A, they managed to find that down on him, and he's ended up timing out. And there was no one there to support him. I'm not sure how he's gone down there, but that could have been huge. Rated R could have rotated straight through there and found that cap on A. Instead, they're going to delay, try and force that mid-fight instead first. And maybe it's a little bit too late now for Strikers.
Trying to push through themselves. Can they get anything done here? The flash out is going to probably give them enough time to get a hold of A. The flash in turn comes back in from Obey Alliance. But who's going to win these next couple of crucial gunfights here? Rated R are going to be in control of A and C. So the home hill comes in their favor, but they're in the spot here. They could definitely get pincered in. We can see Obey just trying to take their times with these gunfights, but TJ is the first one to drop. Pins is there. Saki is then dropped by Marsh as well. So even though they're putting it back into a corner here, Rated R, they just seem to be finding their way out. Marsh will probably be a little bit peed off that he didn't manage to get the give there. That was a strange one, but A and B now belonging to Obey Alliance. There's good shots by Marsh there. Will be disappointed not to walk away with a kill, but either way, Rated R, they held on longer than they probably should have there, Fruit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And Obey, right now, they have got an opportunity to take this round and go 2-1 up. You can see on the scoreboard, they are winning by 30 points or so, and it's all going to be about this neutral hill fight now. Some good Lancer fire coming in here for Obey Alliance. They do find it down. You can see Rated R scurrying, tail between their legs as they do back out, but they are going to get this B kill for their effort now. Now Ashen's trying to push up. Does miss that first shot there, and that just gives whoever that is, Mirror, Strikers, the opportunity to take that cover. Ashen's got to be careful now. Yep.
The win condition is with Rated R now as well, and alongside that, everybody from Obey dropping down. The domination ticks on through very, very quickly. It was the elimination, actually, I should say. Sorry.
And you got to think, that's another round where they were up 30 points. They were in the 200 mark. And
this could very easily be 3-0 to Obey.
Could have been, but it's all about the composure there from Obey Alliance and making sure you're not giving up easy deaths. And every time they're losing a life, they're just letting that be converted into full rounds for Rated R. There's no clawing at rounds. There's no being annoying and scrappy and trying to stay in it. They're just, again, slaying out very, very easily once they lose that first person. And fair play to Rated R. They're finding the picks when they need to. They're managing to convert it, and that is, it's a skill in its own right. We have to give them credit for it.
Well played by Rated R. Just doing it when it matters. That's the problem. I mean, look, that's the thing with escalation. You can put in a solid 2 minutes and 45 seconds of good work, holding down to a 2-cap, rotating around well. All of a sudden, you get 4 men down and you've lost the round. You cannot switch up for a second, especially against a team like Rated R. Saki, this time around, is going to get the better of Pains, though. He's the only one really to answer, though, from Obey Alliance. He's going to go down. Breaker trying to recover him. Going to go down himself. This Lancer Fire coming in from Rated R is so solid. Obey Alliance, can they get anywhere near here? Not quite in time. TJ killing J-Rage on the way in. Not ideal. 3-1 to Rated R now. That's far too easy.
Yeah, 35 seconds on that round. Didn't even have a chance to say anything about it. It was over very, very quickly, and This is looking a bit more like Rated R that we saw in that week 1. Very dominant, finding ways to win. Drop shot's going to go down now, and that was actually, I believe, a Rated R placement. Sorry, no, it was an Obey Alliance placement. You're right. This moving of the scoreboard, it's the text. It's been a bit of a pain, hasn't it?
Matt's just thinking, that's a job for me through the week.
Yeah. Get it on the Trello.
Well, the drop shot is now in. Something different for Obey Alliance to maybe try and win here. These initials against Elevate last week on this map did work out for them, though. Can they continue to do it here against Rated R, though? It's a bit of a different beast. Elevate on one of these... in that situation, that's just so unfortunate. That's just like the decision. What do I do? Do I pick up my teammate? Do I go for it? And unfortunately, in that 50-50 situation, they picked the wrong one. Everybody's dead. That's 4-1 Rated R.
Yeah, and an even quicker round.
Yeah, my question got answered right before my eyes. Can they do as well these initials? No, they cannot.
Oh, dear me. And scoreboard-wise, I'm having a look quickly. Rated R, they didn't even have many kills to their name. You can see it here. It's all about those assists. They're all shooting for one another. You can see Strikers there leading the way in both categories, 9 and 12. 5 deaths on his name, so also give us 21 and 5 total. Pretty good for him.
Dragon sitting at the bottom. He was an elimination player, mate. That's what it was.
That's it, isn't it? Just
He's never getting
bullet there.
He was on about getting MVP so many times last week. It's never going to happen again for him now.
No.
His stats were all inflated through. That's what it was. Anyway, it's a 5-man hit over towards the drop shot, so expect absolute carnage towards the cinema. Breaker is going to be the first one to go down. The drop shot now in Dragon's hands, where he can start to play with it. There's 2. J-Rage and Ashen's going down. Pains finds the 3rd. This one looked like it could be ever so close. Obey Alliance, arguably, could have been up in this one.
They could have. Saki.
It's over. It's surely over. Saki is nowhere to be seen here. There's the elimination coming on through. 5-1 Rated R, a disappointing map out of Obey Alliance in the end, and that is a very, very quick district to kill this one. 5-1, 2-0, Rated R, get it done.
Yeah, fantastic use with those drop shots. Fantastic use with the Nashes, and in the end, yeah, they slay out. You're right. 11 and 9. Pains looking pretty good. Strikers 2. There's your scoreboards. 5-3 on Asylum. 5-1 on that district map. Looking very strong, Rated R. Bit of a sluggish start, we'll give them that. But honestly, that district, you can see why they picked it.
Yeah, looked so good there, Rated R. And I say they look good, but at the same time, I don't want to say Obey handed it to them, but it was just a case of Obey were winning the round. They were looking good in the round, and then Rated R just flicked the switch. And on occasion, just looked like they have that clutch factor. They know where they can find these advantages, even if it is in the last 10 seconds. It's more of a disappointing performance out of Obey than a really good performance out of Rated R. I mean, Rated R have to, for me personally anyway, I think Rated R, yes, okay, they are the ones that had to do it. But I think you've got to be, if you're an Obey fan, you've got to be disappointed with that one. They could have been 3-0 up after 3 rounds. They were looking very, very solid. And then all of a sudden, that's a very different map if they win those couple of crucial gunfights in and around towards the end of the rounds. But that's the thing when it comes to clutch situations, Obey aren't clutching up. And that's going to be their biggest problem right now.
Yeah, it has to be. And, the drop shot placement in the end, it's a nice, bold strategy that, they're trying to force a fight somewhere else. But realistically, it's something that we've seen time and time again. It's nothing really groundbreaking, right? And it's not something you're going to catch Rated R off with, especially on a series point like that. Well, we had not a series point, a one before series point and a series point on it, and both times Rated R, they just looked like they had they had it sorted, that strategy. They knew exactly what their response would be. They were clean on their fights. The drop shot placements were perfect. 2 double kills out of 2 shots with it is exactly what you want. And there was no backup plan for Obey if that fight went wrong. It was just gung ho, let's go fight that. And in the end, you're doing that against a team that is out fighting everybody in the league right now.
Yeah, they look so good in those situations. Rated are very happy to take advantage of that situation itself, and will walk away as winners of that series 2-0. They are still undefeated after 3 weeks. I'm so excited to see how they continue this Pro League run. But after the break, we do have Elevate taking on Riga Reserve. Riga seem to be getting better. Elevate may be flustered a little bit right now. It should be a good one. We'll find out who wins that one after this very quick break.